My sister hurled the champagne flute so hard it shattered against the side of my three-tier wedding cake. The explosion of glass and sugar sounded like a gunshot. Every head whipped toward us. And there she stood, my little sister, Danny, eyes wild, mascara streaking down her cheeks as she screamed across the reception hall, "This is what you get for acting like you're better than me." My mouth went dry. But what gutted me wasn't her voice. It was my mother. Because she didn't rush to me. She didn't ask if I was okay. She wrapped her arms around her, whispering, "She just needs to let it out." And I stood there, stunned, silent, shaking, on the most important day of my life, finally realizing that I was done being their emotional punching bag. I just didn't know that my silence that night would start an avalanche. And that by 8:40 a.m., they'd get the real news, the kind that made my mother collapse to her knees. The reception hall had been glowing with warm gold lights only minutes before. Now, every chandelier felt like a spotlight, exposing the cracks in my family like fractures in glass. My guests froze mid-conversation, fork suspended, champagne half-raised. Even the band stopped playing mid-song, saxophone hanging in the air like a breath no one wanted to release. I felt the train of my dress tug slightly as my husband, Andrew, moved closer behind me. I could feel his breath, steady but tense, like he already knew this wasn't just a moment, this was a breaking point years in the making. My father stood near the bar, jaw tight, face flushed, not with shame, but with the familiar defeated expression that said, "Please don't make this difficult. Not today." And Danny? She was trembling with that familiar cocktail of jealousy and entitlement she'd always worn like perfume. I recognized the look. It meant a storm was coming. Something had felt off since the morning, my mother checking her phone constantly, Danny sulking through the makeup session, whispered conversations that stopped the moment I entered the room. I had ignored the signs. But now those signs were screaming at me through shards of frosting-covered glass. My sister pointed at me with a shaky finger, chest heaving. "You just left me behind," she screeched. "You didn't even think about how this would make me feel." I blinked. "Marrying the man I love, was supposed to consider your feelings?" I asked quietly. Her face twisted. "Yes. Because I'm supposed to go first. I'm the youngest, Mom said you'd help me get through college, get my apartment, my life together before you ran off." There it was. The real motive. Not jealousy of the marriage. Fear of losing her personal safety net. My mother stroked her hair, glaring up at me like I was the one who'd thrown alcohol and shattered a cake that cost more than Danny's entire summer rent. "You know how emotional she gets," Mom hissed. "Don't escalate. Just apologize and we'll get her calmed down." Apologize. For her ruining my wedding. My throat closed up. My father raised his glass awkwardly, fake laughing into the stunned silence. "It's fine, everyone. Just family things." The manipulation pressed in on me from all directions, expectation, guilt, obligation, all woven into a net meant to keep me quiet. As always. But something inside me cracked. Not loudly. Softly. Like a breath before a scream. "No," I said. One word. Small, but sharp enough to cut the air clean open. Danny's sobbing stopped mid-hiccup. Mom froze, hands still on her shoulders. I took one step forward. "I'm not apologizing. Not for her choices. Not for her behavior. Not for taking control of my life." My mother's eyes widened, stunned, then furious. My sister's lip curled. "You think you're so much better, I don't think I'm better," I said. "I'm just done." You could hear the silence stretch, thin and dangerous. Someone in the back dropped a fork. It sounded like metal thunder. I turned on my heel and walked away, feeling my pulse pounding with something I hadn't felt in years, power. Most people at that wedding had no idea. No idea that I'd been subsidizing Danny's life since she was 19. That I'd co-signed her apartment lease. That I'd paid her community college tuition for 2 years. That when she dropped out to find herself, I'd covered her rent so she wouldn't get evicted. That I'd paid off her credit card after she cried about, accidentally, spending too much. That every dollar I tried to save for my wedding kept getting dipped into because my mother insisted, she just needs a little help, she's fragile. That fragility was a myth they'd crafted, a way to excuse that Danny didn't want responsibility because responsibility didn't feel as good as being rescued. But I had been the rescuer. The consistent one. The dependable one. The one who was supposed to fold myself smaller so they could take up all the space. And now, Danny was losing her safety net. And she knew it. After the cake incident, after the forced smiles, after the guests left whispering, "Is her sister okay?" I sat on the hotel bed in my wedding dress, staring at the ceiling. Something inside me settled. Like dust after a demolition. At midnight, I opened my laptop. And I did 3 things. I canceled Danny's college tuition deposit, the one I'd paid as a surprise to help her start fresh next semester. I froze the co-signed lease. Legally, since she'd already violated terms by subletting her bedroom behind my back, I had the right. I canceled the auto transfer of $450 I'd been sending her monthly, for basics. My phone buzzed almost instantly. "Mom, where are you?" "Danny is devastated." "Mom, you need to undo whatever you just did." "She's crying again." "Dad, we'll talk tomorrow. Let's not do anything dramatic." "Danny, WTF did you do? Why can't you just let me have one thing without control?" Funny. Control was the one thing I'd never had. Not until now. I turned off my phone. For the first time in my life, I slept deeply. Silence is a strange power. When you stop arguing, they start spiraling. By morning, my phone had 17 missed calls. 7 from Mom. 5 from Danny. 3 from Dad. 2 from unknown numbers, probably Danny using someone else's phone. I left them all unanswered. I made coffee. Sat with my husband. Watched the sun rise. It felt peaceful. Too peaceful. Because I knew what silence meant in our family. When I didn't respond, they didn't reflect. They panicked. By the second day, Mom's messages turned frantic. "Mom, Danny is saying she can't pay rent without you, why would you put her in danger?" "Mom, she missed her college orientation because of this drama." "Mom, your father is upset. He had to take the day off to calm her down." Dad finally texted, "This is affecting the whole household. Maybe you should consider helping until she gets back on her feet." But Danny? Her messages had shifted from rage to desperation. "Danny, they're threatening eviction. I need you. Danny, why are you doing this? I'm your sister. Danny, I can't get another cosigner. Please. I'll do better." That last one almost softened me. Almost. But then I pictured my wedding cake collapsing under her champagne tantrum while my mother hugged her. And the softness evaporated. My brother, Ethan, quiet, middle child, always overlooked, texted me for the first time in weeks. "Ethan, I heard what happened. Are you okay?" I stared at the message. He'd been living at home while working 2 jobs, paying his portion, cleaning up after Danny's messes, too introverted to fight back. Me, I'm fine. Just done. "Ethan, I get it. Honestly. I'm proud of you." That made my chest tighten. He'd never said anything like that before. I responded, "How's everything over there?" His reply came slow. "Ethan, Mom's yelling. Danny's blaming everyone. Dad's trying to fix things. But I've been saving. Thinking of moving out. Maybe it's time." A warmth bloomed in me. Maybe I wasn't the only one waking up. By the end of the week, the fallout went public. Danny posted a crying selfie on Instagram with the caption, "Imagine your own sister ruining your future out of jealousy. Some people can't stand to see others shine." The comments were a mix of pity and confusion. Mom made a Facebook post, "Some daughters forget where they came from." Dad liked it. Then unliked it. Then liked it again. And then a GoFundMe appeared. Help Danny stay in school. Goal, $8,000. I nearly laughed. My husband did laugh. Ethan texted me a link with, "This is embarrassing. I'm staying out of it." But the real blow came when Danny's landlord emailed me, since I was still on the lease. His message was blunt: "Final notice, your cosigner responsibilities remain active until the lease is formally terminated. There is also an issue you need to be aware of." That issue hit 2 hours later. At 8:40 a.m., I got a call from the landlord. He sounded uncomfortable. "Ms. Ward, I reviewed the unit because of the payment issues. I thought you should know, your sister hasn't been living there full time. She sublet her room illegally months ago." My stomach dropped. "She what?" "She's been staying with her boyfriend in another city. The rent money you've been sending, it wasn't going to housing. She's been traveling. Parties. Weekend trips. The sublet tenant already moved out because she said Danny never paid her back." Something inside me went ice cold. All those times Danny cried about barely getting by. All those times Mom claimed she was so stressed. All lies. All manipulation. I thanked the landlord, asked for the documents, and hung up. Then I forwarded everything to my parents. 2 minutes later, my phone exploded. "Mom, this is your fault. If you hadn't cut her off, she wouldn't have done this. Dad, please don't escalate. Let us figure it out. Danny, you ruined everything." I sat there, reading each message, feeling nothing. Just clarity. A day later, Ethan reached out again. "Ethan, they're falling apart. Mom's crying. Dad's overwhelmed. Danny is not okay. Me, and what do they want from me?" "Ethan, honestly. An apology. Money. A fix." I snorted. Then, 3 hours later, my mother called. I didn't answer. She left a voicemail. At first, her voice was sharp. Then shaky. Then finally, broken. I didn't want to admit it. "You were right. She lied to us. She's been lying for a long time. But we didn't want to lose her. We didn't want to lose either of you. I'm sorry. We should have supported you more. I didn't think you'd ever walk away." That last line hit deeper than I expected. She didn't think I could. The next weeks felt lighter. I focused on my job. My marriage. My own home. I slept more. Laughed more. Did things without guilt, without fear, without obligation. Andrew said I seemed taller, not literally, but emotionally. The world didn't collapse without me. But their world? It finally stopped using me as scaffolding. Meanwhile Ethan, he actually moved out. Got a small apartment. Started saving for a new car. He sounded freer every time we talked. Growth. Real growth. Not the kind Danny posted with inspirational quotes. After a month, I invited Ethan to dinner. Just him. No parents. No Danny. He hesitated. "Ethan, Mom and Dad want to come too. They said they want to talk. They want to apologize. Danny, probably won't." I thought about it. I thought about the wedding, the cake, the screaming, the years of quiet resentment. And then I said, fine. One dinner. For closure. We met at a quiet restaurant. The moment I walked in, I saw the shift. My parents looked smaller. Softer. Tired. No superiority. No demands. No guilt traps. Just, people. Danny wasn't there. Ethan gave me a small, supportive nod as we sat. My mother cleared her throat first. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "For everything. For putting you in that position. For choosing Danny's emotions over your well-being. For not seeing what we were doing." My father nodded, hands folded tightly. "I should have stepped in years ago. I should have protected you." I let the silence settle. Then I spoke slowly. "I'm not here to rewrite the past. I'm here to rewrite the future." They looked up, hopeful, scared. "I love you. But I won't be your fixer anymore. I won't bankroll anyone's life. I won't be guilt, manipulated, or dismissed. My support will come with boundaries. And if anyone, crosses them, I will step back again. No drama. Just distance." My mother wiped her eyes. "We understand." Ethan squeezed my hand under the table. For the first time in my life. I believed them. We didn't become a perfect family. But something balanced. Mom stopped making excuses for Danny. Dad started respecting my choices without the "but family" speech. Ethan grew into his own life, stronger and steadier. And Danny? Well. Choices have consequences. She's still figuring hers out. But that's her journey now. Not mine to pay for. Not mine to cushion. Not mine to fix. And as I walked out of that restaurant into the cool night air, I felt it, the quiet, steady power of finally choosing myself.